I don't want this to be too solemn a moment because I know that you have very serious things to discuss in your two-day convention. So I just want to share with you some bits of wisdom from the Filipino mind. Pagtatakalan na ako. Kapag sinabi sa iyo, nang naniligaw sa iyo, na ikaw daw ang nag-isang babae sa buhay niya, huwag kang maniwala. Bakit? Wala ba siyang nanay? Ang mga babae parang prutas yan. May iba't ibang flavor, itsura, kulay. Ang problema sa lalaki, mahilig sa fruit salad. Paano mo sasabihin sa kausap mo na may itim ang kilikili niya? Saan siya magalit? Ganito, tanungin mo, ano ba ang ginagamit ng deodorant? Kiwi? Ang love, parang sports yan. Kaya mo bang may panalo ang isang laro kung reserva ka lang? At minsan, mga peri-operating nurses, because the patients are either frightened or anxious or grouchy or irritable or angry, are faced with patients who keep on articulating that they don't want to live anymore, they want to die. Isagutin mo ng ganito. Kung hindi ka masaya sa buhay mo, bakit hindi mo subukan ang kabilang buhay? Sabi ng doktor, meron ka na lang 2 linggo pa para magbuhay. Sabi ng pasyente, naku, konting panahon na lang pala. Pero paano ba yan? Yan daw. Kulang ko ang 2 linggo para mabayaran mo tayo. Sabi ni doktor, kung ganyan, may 6 na linggo ka pa para mabayaran. Remember that I'm in politics, so I try very hard to make sure that the politicians will turn into an oligarchy, an aristocracy dedicated to stealing money from the taxpayers. Sabi ko ni Paul Upper, hold up ito, ang pinapera mo, lalaki, hindi mo ba ako nakikilala? Isa kong congressman. Hold Upper, kung ganon, ang pinapera namin. Peri-operating nursing. The term peri-operative pertains to a period extending from the time of hospitalization for surgery to the time of discharge. In other words, the term means the nursing care given before, during, and after surgery. The prefix peri comes from exactly the same Greek word, peri, which means around, palibot, my Tagalog is a little faulty today. Maybe there's a chemical imbalance. Or nag-aaligid. Pag-ikot-ikot o nag-aaligid. Thus, when we use the prefix peri, we mean near or around surgery. E ngayon pa lang, meron mga tao na gusto na maging senador at papalitan na ako. Kailan siya naalala kong judge sa International Criminal Court. Naliwanag ko, nakikita sa akin kung kailangan ko mag-resign. Kung hindi, kailangan maghintay ako na tawagin ako ng korte. Pero ang paraan nila dahil hindi naman ulit retirable na ang judge, ay alis na siya. Kinakailangan sa kanilang mga relasyon na maghintay mo ng judge na natapos na lahat ng lista niya. Kaya kami naman mga bago, hindi naman rin kami patawag-tawag kung hindi mo na mag-retire sa judge na ibig sabihin ay natapos niya lahat ng lista niya. Kaya yung mga hindi makahintay na umalis ako, palaging nag-ikot-ikot o nag-aaligid o pagkasinod. Dapat tawagin silang peri senators. nagreklamo daw sila sa ICC. Hindi nila naintindihan na para maging isang judge, ang isang kandidato ay kailangan umikot sa buong mundo, harapin niya lahat ng mga foreign affairs officials ng bawat bansa, tama ng mga ambassadors sa New York. At magsalita siya doon, tapos may open forum at maski ano pwede kang tanungin. At meron silang mga NGOs na kung ano ginawa kung hindi bantayan yung mga speeches sa mga kandidato. At pag hindi sila nakontento sa mga pagsasagot, ay ilalabas nila ang mga publications nila na ayaw nila manalo ang isang kandidato. Kaya hindi ko lang sabihin ay napaka-stricto ng kanilang mga pamamaraan para mapili itong bagong anim na judges. Ngayon, ayaw ng ibang mga naninilag sa akin na papuntahin ako sa ICC. Okay lang sa akin yun. Dito na lang ako sa Pilipinas. Panatili akong senador, meron akong term of office ng 6 na taon, at meron akong parliamentary immunity. Ang senador, basta kung sasabihin niya, hindi ko yan padimanda sa korte dahil sa tatawag na parliamentary immunity. Kaya, kung matuloy man itong maninirag sa akin, maswerte sila. Pero, kung matuloy man, 6 na taon ang abutin ninyo sa akin. Mumurahin kayo, simula sa ulo, Your annual convention, the 25th meeting of which this is number 38, is intended to help achieve the objective to promote the highest professional standards of perioperative nursing practice for the optimal care of patients. The continuous goal of perioperative nursing is to furnish excellence, nothing less than excellence, in taking care of the patients in the preoperative, intraoperative, and post-operative phases. Kapag susundukin ko itong mga kalaban ko ito dahil wala nang ginawa, umili manila sa kapwa, tapos magnakaw ng imbak-imbak na pera ng ating bayan. Kaya kayo mga perioperative nurses, handa kayo. Dahil ang dami ng mga kalaban ko, padadala ko sa ospital. Ang laki ng nanakaw nila. Hindi sila nangyayari sa tampayan. Tapos nag-lecture pa sila about honesty and good governance. Hindi ko talaga maintindihan ng mga ito. Tapos, nagtataka daw sila, bakit palagi ako galit? Eh kasi, maliban sa mga gago na, napangit pa. Gusto ko na sabihin sa lahat ng kalaban ko, stop molesting me! You won't avoid. Operating room nursing is the oldest specialty in record, dating back to 1875. Nursing is unique in the operating room. It ensures a specialty service, emphasizing the need for continuous individual care specific to the patient. It is entirely possible that a perioperative nurse will become the first assistant to the surgeon, on a level with the resident, intern, or physician's assistant. If you are the first assistant who would assist in retracting, hemostasis, suturing, and any other task required by the surgeon to facilitate speed while maintaining quality during the procedure. But ordinarily, the perioperative nurse performs 2 major roles, as circulator and as scrub nurse. The circulator is a perioperative nurse who manages the nursing care of patients during surgery. The circulator observes for breaches in surgical asepsis and coordinates the need of the circulating team. A scrub nurse is a perioperative nurse who works directly with the surgeon in the sterile field. The scrub nurse passes instruments, sponges, and other items needed during the procedure. In the United States, there is a high premium for perioperative nurses because you are considered specialty nurses. Kumbaga sa pagkabugado, hindi ka lang abogado, doctorate ka na. Ganon ang katayuan ng perioperative nurse. By 2006 standards in the United States, You would probably earn over $83,000 annually at that time, and certainly more by this time. Philippines ahead of the United States. Under the Philippine Nursing Act of 2002, only the holder of a bachelor's degree in nursing is allowed to take the nursing licensure examination. Yung mga kalaban ko sa politika, ang baba ng IQ. Kaya naman ko sila ngayon, kumuha sila ng nursing licensure examination. Tingnan natin kung makapasad sila. Ang daming kababayan natin, kung ano-anong exam, kailangan kukunin nila bago sila makapagtrabaho at makakita ng pera. Eh bakit mas sino na lang bago pwede mag-politiko? Wala silang mga exam. This example is not being followed in the United States under the U.S. RN-USN program. Therefore, we can proudly say that in nursing, Filipino nurses hold a decided educational advantage over American nurses. Filipino nurses serve as role models to your American counterparts. Nakapagtaka yun, ang Filipinong nurse, tuturuan na nila ng Amerika paano mapaganda at mapabuti ang pagiging nurse. But the United States is catching up. We have to be careful also. Today in the United States, there is a surge in enrollment in nursing courses at four-year colleges. More than 600 schools in the U.S. have opened so-called RN to BSN programs. These are people who are already registered nurses but want to earn bachelor's degrees. According to the American Association of Colleges of Nurses, fueled by the growth in inline courses, enrollment this year, 2012, is almost 90,000. The nurses with bachelor's degrees will become the largest segment of the profession and one of the best paid. Kaya kailangan malaman din natin kung anong ginagawa nila para ma-improve ang kanilang mga nurses as compared to Filipino nurses. In the U.S., an added incentive for hospitals to hire nurses with baccalaureate degrees is a project of the American Nurses Association. The ANA awards the so-called magnet designation to about 400 hospitals. The ANA awards magnet status depending, among others, on the nursing staff's level of education. In 2008, the U.S. federal government survey showed that the U.S. had 3 million registered nurses, but half, or 1.5 million registered nurses, already had a bachelor's or master's degree in nursing. In 2010, the U.S. Institute of Medicine called for raising the proportion to the total number of registered nurses to 80% with a bachelor's or master's degrees for 2020. Kaya, by 2020, dapat handa tayo for stiffer competition from the United States. Even if a bachelor's program has strict requirements, American nurses consider it a second career. In the U.S., the typical starting age is around 30 years old. American nurses are emulating the Philippine system because of your influence on serious treatment decisions. Let me just talk very briefly about 2 bills that I filed in the Philippine Congress, but which until now have not reacted at time. The intent of these bills is to try to improve the condition of our nurses, particularly the very upgraded nurses. In both the previous and present Congress, I have filed at least 2 bills with respect to the nursing profession. The first bill limits the consecutive hours of work by nurses. The second bill is known as the Nurse Faculty Higher Education Act. I filed the first bill because the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration issued reports that in 2001, some 13,500 Filipino nurses went overseas, but only some 4,400 students passed the nursing board examination. The statistics show that the Philippines is steadily losing nurses, and therefore, we have to solve the problem of the flight of nurses to other countries. My bill focuses on the factor of the hours of work. Under my bill, a nurse should not be required to remain on duty for a period longer than 8 consecutive hours or 40 hours on a 7-day work week. Further, a nurse should not be required to work more. The bill allows exceptions in cases of healthcare disasters, a declaration of emergency in the geographical region, or an emergency determined by the hospital. If there is an emergency, the hospital should make a good faith effort to have overtime covered on a voluntary basis, including calling per diems, agency nurses, assigning floats, or requesting an additional day of work from off-duty employees. The bill does not prohibit a nurse from voluntarily working overtime. Under my second bill, known as the Nurse Faculty Higher Education Act, I took note of the current faculty shortage in nursing. This bill mandates the Department of Health to encourage programs to engage the cooperation of private institutions, not only producing better faculty, but also raising the level of nursing education. The purpose of the bill is to create 5 pilot programs to provide scholarships to qualified nurses in pursuit of an advanced degree with a goal of becoming faculty members. It also seeks to provide grants to partnerships between nursing schools and hospitals to fund release time for qualified nurse employees. Thus, the nurse employee can earn a salary while obtaining an advanced degree in nursing with a goal of becoming nursing faculty. Under my bill, the Health Secretary on a competitive basis may award grants to partnerships composed of a nursing school and a hospital. The grant should be awarded for a period of 3 to 5 years. In awarding grants, the Health Secretary shall consider the following factors: geographical distribution, rural and urban areas, range and type of institution, and prior experience or exceptional programs. I will include the proper appropriation from the National Treasury. My 2 bills have not been acted upon. If you think that they are worthwhile, you can either pass a resolution, write a letter, or visit the chair of the Senate Health Committee, urging that these bills should be given priority. This means that the bills should be scheduled for a public hearing where all NAP would be entitled to participate. The committee chair should then issue a committee report recommending that the bill should be passed. This will be followed by a sponsorship speech during the Senate plenary session. If you request it, I will be co-sponsor so that I will help to defend the bill during the floor debate. The bills are identified as follows. Number 1, Senate Bill number 1565. Quote, an act limiting the consecutive hours of work by nurses, unquote. And number 2, Senate Bill number 1589, quote, an act to create a pilot program to increase the number of graduate educated nurse faculty to meet the future need for qualified nurse, unquote. With a short title of Nurse Faculty Higher Education Act. I will now proceed to my conclusion. Florence Nightingale, the English nurse and medical reformer, said that the very first requirement in a hospital is that it should do the sick no harm. She also said that nursing should put the patient in the best condition for nature to act upon him or her. Finally, she said that the nurse deserves a better definition than simply being devoted and obedient. Bakit ganyan ang palagi ang nurse? The nurse must be devoted to the patient, the nurse must be obedient to the doctor. Bakit ganon? Dapat naman, i-consider nila. A nurse should have sex appeal, for example. Should have the power of independent thinking. But, in any event, the term devoted and obedient is, I assume, the reason why the poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow growth of Florence Nightingale, and imagining all of the nurses in our country today. The poet said, "A lady with a lamb shall stand in the great history of the land, a noble type of good, heroic woman.